In the ancient city of Ur, bustling with life and prosperity, there lived a man named Abram. He was a man of means, respected in his community, and deeply devoted to the God of all creation. His wife, Sarai, was beautiful and graceful, but her heart carried a heavy sorrow. She was barren. For years they had longed for a child to carry on their name, yet their tent remained silent, without the laughter of a child. Despite this void, Abram lived a life of faith and obedience. Then, one day, his life changed forever. A voice called to him, a voice unlike any he had ever heard before. It was the voice of the Almighty. "Leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing." Abram, though he did not know where this new land was, obeyed without question. He gathered Sarai, his servants, and all their possessions, and they set out on the journey of a lifetime. Though the road was long and uncertain, Abram clung to God's promise that he would become the father of a great nation. But the years dragged on, and Sarai's arms remained empty. They grew older, and Sarai began to wonder if the promise was meant for someone else. Sarai, weary of waiting and filled with longing, came to Abram with a plan. "The Lord has kept me from having children," she said. "Perhaps I can build a family through my servant Hagar." Abram agreed, and Hagar soon conceived a child. But what should have brought joy only brought tension. Hagar, now carrying Abram's child, looked down on Sarai, and Sarai's jealousy burned within her. In her frustration, she lashed out at Hagar, and the servant fled into the wilderness. But God, ever watchful, sent an angel to Hagar, promising that her son, Ishmael, would also become the father of a great nation. Reassured, Hagar returned to Abram's household and gave birth to Ishmael. Still, Sarai's heart remained heavy. Though Ishmael was a blessing, he was not the child God had promised. Years passed, and Abram and Sarai grew old. Abram was now 99 years old, and Sarai not far behind him. Any hope of having a child together seemed all but gone. Then, one day, God appeared to Abram once more. "I am God Almighty. Walk before me and be blameless. I will confirm my covenant between me and you and will greatly increase your numbers." Abram fell face down, overwhelmed by God's presence. Then God gave him a new name, Abraham, meaning father of many nations. And Sarai's name too was changed. She would now be called Sarah, meaning princess, for kings and nations would come from her line. Though Abraham and Sarah were well beyond the age of bearing children, God declared his plan. "Your wife Sarah will bear you a son, and you will call him Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him as an everlasting covenant for his descendants after him." Abraham laughed in astonishment. He was 100 years old and Sarah was 90. How could this be? Yet God's promise was firm. The son would come, and through him the world would be blessed. Soon after, 3 visitors came to Abraham's tent in the heat of the day. They were not ordinary travelers. They carried a divine message. Abraham, ever hospitable, welcomed them, offering water and food. As they ate, one of them spoke, saying, "Where is your wife, Sarah?" "In the tent," Abraham replied. Then came the astounding announcement, "I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son." Inside the tent, Sarah heard the words and laughed. It was not a laugh of joy, but one of disbelief. "After I am worn out and my Lord is old, will I now have this pleasure?" she thought. But the Lord responded, "Why did Sarah laugh? Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return to you at the appointed time next year, and Sarah will have a son." True to his word, Sarah conceived, and at the appointed time she gave birth to a son. Abraham named him Isaac, which means he laughs, for the joy and laughter that had come into their lives. Holding her son, Sarah said, "God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears about this will laugh with me. As Isaac grew, he became the joy of Abraham and Sarah's life. But one day, God called to Abraham with a test that would stretch his faith to the very limits. Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you. Abraham's heart must have been torn, but his faith in God was unshaken. Early the next morning, he set out with Isaac, carrying the wood for the offering. As they climbed the mountain, Isaac asked, "The fire and wood are here, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham replied, "God himself will provide the lamb." When they reached the place, Abraham built an altar and bound Isaac, laying him upon it. As he raised the knife to sacrifice his son, an angel of the Lord called out, "Abraham, Abraham, do not lay a hand on the boy. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son." At that moment, Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught in a thicket. He offered the ram in place of his son, and the Lord reaffirmed his promise. "Through your offspring, all nations on earth will be blessed, because you have obeyed me." Abraham and Sarah's story is one of faith, perseverance, and the fulfillment of God's promises. Against all odds, they became the parents of a great nation, and through their descendants, the world would come to know the greatest blessing of all, Jesus Christ. Their journey reminds us that God's timing is perfect, His promises are sure, and His plans often exceed our wildest dreams. Even when the road seems long and the weight unbearable, Abraham and Sarah's story teaches us to trust, for nothing is too hard for the Lord.